Welcome to this edition of The Golden Rule. I'm Barry Shoder, and I am excited about this program. We started last week, for those of you who listen, by encouraging the listeners to memorize Psalm 91. And I specifically challenged them to memorize it in the King James Version. Now, I recognize that there's a lot of people can't handle the King James Version initially. I say initially because once you get familiar with it, you'll love it. But we're going to read through today, for starters, the whole thing in the King James Version, and then I'm going to continue to explain it verse by verse, phrase by phrase, even word by word if necessary, so that you'll have a full understanding of what it is we're reading. But for now, I'm encouraging you to look at your screen and read along with me out loud wherever you are. Ready? He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He's my refuge and my fortress, my God. In Him will I trust. Surely He shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with His feathers, and under His wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flies by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold, and see the reward of the wicked. Because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation, there shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. For He shall give His angels charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. Thou shalt tread upon the lion and adder, the young lion and the dragon shalt thou trample under feet. Because He hath set His love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high, because he hath known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation. It takes about 1 minute and 40 seconds to read that entire chapter. Now, this is in King James English, which is what causes a lot of people some problems because they're not used to King James English. But to make it simple for you, they add ETH on the end of verbs. So instead of they saying make, he says maketh. It still means the same thing. He maketh my way perfect. He makes my way perfect. So as you're reading it, you can drop the ETH off if you want to. If it's easier for you, drop it off. But it means the same thing. Whether he makes or he maketh, it's the same word. When it says thee or thou, it means you. Instead of saying he gives thee his promises, he gives you his promises. So don't stumble over the these and the thous. They're just a very simple thing replacing the word you. Thy is yours. So that's the way it goes. And as I go through these things verse by verse, I will emphasize that on specific verses if it seems like it might be confusing to you. So we started out last week, we did verses 1 and 2. And I'm not going to go back through them because I don't have time to do that. I'm going to go verse by verse. So if you want to watch what I said last week, you can go to the archives and check it out, assuming that the archives are up and running on the station. And it's Watch TV3. Listen. LakesTV3.com. LakesTV numeric 3.com. And you can go there, then you can go to the website, you can scroll down to find the Golden Rule. It's in the T's, the Golden Rule, so that's alphabetical. And then when you get there, it'll say current shows or archived shows. So you just click on current shows and it'll bring up last week's program if everything is functioning as it ought to. So now in verse 3, and remember, I said these are promises to a certain group of people. People who love God, people who serve God, people who worship God, people who believe in God, people who study God's Word. These promises are for them. And if you're not one of them, you have no right to claim these promises. So become one of them. What are you waiting for? Don't drag your feet. Give your life to the Lord and serve Him, and these promises will apply to your life. Verse 3, surely. What does that mean? It means surely. You can take it to the bank. Surely He, God, shall deliver you. Deliver you. What does that mean? It means cause you to escape. Cause you not to stay trapped. Surely He shall deliver you from the snare of the fowler. Fancy words. A fowler is a guy who hunts or traps birds. The fowl of the air. A fowl, a bird, a chicken is a fowl. F-O-W-L, fowl. Surely He, God, shall deliver you from the snare. What's a snare? It's a trap. That's how bird hunters catch birds, with traps. And that's how the devil catches people. He sets traps. And if you don't know where the trap is, there's a verse that says, surely the snare is set in vain in the sight of any bird. In other words, if the bird's sitting up in a tree and you're down below setting a trap for him, he's watching you, you're not going to catch that bird. It's in vain to set a trap in the sight of the one you want to trap. And the devil is good at setting traps out of your sight. You don't realize there's a trap being set for you, but surely, say it with me, surely He shall deliver you from, number one, the snare of the fowler, and number two, from the noisome pestilence. You know what? When I first read this psalm, I didn't have a clue what either of those words meant. Noisome pestilence. So I did the same thing that you can do. You look it up in your dictionary. And my dictionary says a noisome pestilence is an obnoxious, contagious, I can't remember all the rest of the words, but it's an epidemic type of disease. Obnoxious, epidemic, harmful disease. So God says He's going to deliver us from the noisome pestilence. What does that mean? It means He's going to deliver you from diseases, from plagues. Oh, how can He do that? He's God. He's God. He can do whatever He wants to do and whatever you invite Him to do. You got to be on His team to enjoy these benefits. When the bubonic plague hit the European continent in the 1500s, I believe it was 1/4 of the entire population of the continent died. 1/4 of the entire population of the continent of Europe died in the Black Plague or the bubonic plague. But something interesting was noted. The Jews were not dying. It was so obvious that some naysayers dared to suggest that the Jews had introduced this plague. No, the Jews didn't introduce it, but they were protected from it because they knew Psalm 91, which says, surely He shall deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence, the obnoxious, hateful, despicable, contagious, communicable disease. And God can do that. If you don't believe it, you don't believe it. And you'll get sick. Maybe you'll even die. But if you believe it, you can be spared because God promises to spare you. We serve a supernatural God. And people who just read this book and say, that's just a bunch of words, it's just a bunch of black words on a white page. No, 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 no. It's the voice of God speaking to anybody who will believe him. Who benefits from this? He that dwells in the secret place of the Most High. It's in verse 1. Verse 4. He, God, shall cover you with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. Is God a bird? No, God's not a bird. Does he have feathers? No, God doesn't have feathers. He's giving an analogy. And there was a report one time of a mother hen who sensed a forest fire coming, so she went cluck, 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 and her chicks all came to her, and they found cover under her wings. And when this grass fire passed over, the mother was dead. She was burned in the fire. But the chicks survived because they came under the cover, under the shelter of their mother's wings. And God's using an analogy. He's saying, I'll protect you from what? Anything. And we're going to get into details of what he's going to protect us from. And it's amazing. It's inspiring. It's encouraging. It's revelatory. But if you're just trying to figure this book out with your intellect, you will never, never, never experience God the way he wants you to experience him. He shall cover you with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. It's an analogy. It's a picture of how caring a mother bird is, that she's willing to sacrifice her very life to save the life of her chicks. And that's what God did. He sacrificed his life to deliver you. God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him should not perish, but should have everlasting life. You got to believe in Jesus. And if you're one of the ones that says, oh, there's lots of gods, you're not a believer in the God of this book. And you're going to live by or die by what you believe. He shall cover you with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth. His truth. This is the only book you can read on the face of the planet that's 100% true. The only book on the face of the planet that's 100% true. Jesus said of himself, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father except by me. And that applies to everybody watching this program today. You will never get to God by denying that Jesus is God. You need to believe what he said about himself. So, I pray that, I'm running out of time, we're going to have to continue this on the next session, but I pray for you right now that God would open your heart to the realities of the truths that are in this book. Infallible truths. The Bible says God proved by many infallible proofs. Infallible. That means you can't find fault with them. Pilate, when he was demanded to kill Jesus, he said, what for? I find no fault with him. I challenge you, listener, find fault with Jesus. Find one fault with him. Many have tried. And in the process of trying, they got saved because they found out it's true. You can't refute the truths of this book. They're irrefutable truths. Well, thank you for watching. We're going to do this again. We're going to continue until we get through the entire 91st Psalm. Thank you for watching. God bless you.